What's up YouTube? Mellow Automati. So we are back in the classroom again. And I know this still isn't the set 9 earliest. It might be out, might not be. Can't remember which order I'm putting these up in. But the final one is in the works, I promise. And there is going to be a set 10 stuff starting soon. I just want to work the lists out so I'm happy with them. But this one, we're going back to my roots. And for those that know, I very heavily used to cover the Lyrical cards. And we're obviously back around to the Festival Collection builds in the streams at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to start recovering those and actually breaking them down a bit. So the first ones we're going to cover in this video is we are going to cover the Wilista stuff. We're also going to cover the cycle cards because they've revealed quite a few generic cards. So let's get started with the Wilista stuff. And where better to start than with the new Wilista herself. And that is Festimagica Wilista. So the first skill is going to be shared across all of the Lyrical bosses, which is the dress up skill. And this skill is basically saying this card is treated as Prismagica Wilista at all times. Second skill is Auto. When this unit is placed on Vanguard circle, you can discard a card from your hand, choose a gem card from your soul or drop zone and put it into your hand. And then the third skill is Act Vanguard circle once a turn. You can Soul Blast 1 gem card and perform all of the following actions according to the card name of the card Soul Blasted, for the cost of this. If you Soul Blasted a Everlasting Sapphire, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 units from amongst them, corner to rearguard circle, and then shuffle your deck. And if you Soul Blasted a True Hearted Ruby, this unit gets power plus 15,000 until end of turn. So the first skill, which is the dress up one, is really nice because it means all the old support like Ottilie, Ophiel, anything that specifically names Prismagica Wilista that need to be looked for, also works for Festimagica Wilista, which is really nice to have. Then obviously second skill is really nice because obviously you're cycling your precious gems back to your hand again to reuse them and get their skills off. So you're getting a full advantage and you're not actually having to rely on other cards such as the Katina we used to use, which was Soul Blast 1, discard a card to add a gem back. So having that now built into Wilista is really nice. And then the Act skill being a Soul Blast a gem and then do something based off of it means that it's also tied in together, keeping it as one skill, whereas obviously the old Wilista had Soul Blast Sapphire do this, Soul Blast and Ruby do this. So it does make more sense once we get to the next card why it's only a once per turn skill. And obviously the Sapphire skill is very similar to her old Sapphire skill. It doesn't actually mill the cards anymore, which is really nice, because that was the one big downside to the Everlasting Sapphire skill. It didn't get used much, was the fact of you were taking 5 cards out of your deck and you had a high chance of hitting triggers and just dumping them. So this is a really nice big improvement. True Hearted Ruby skill did get nerfed, because obviously it used to prevent intercepting, which this one obviously no longer does now. But all in all, really nice card overall. But she gets better due to her support. And the first bit of her support is a rework of the gems. So this is the card called Crossing Illumerays. This has got the continuous of, during this fight, this is also treated as True Hearted Ruby and Everlasting Sapphire. And it's got the order skill of, play this if you have got a Vanguard with Wilista in its card name. You can put this card to your soul, draw a card, and choose one of your Vanguards. Until the end of turn, it gets 5,000 power, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it also gets the skill of Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, you can Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1 grade 3 with Wilista in its card name, choose one of your rearguards and stand it back up. And then if you've played this order, you can't play orders for the rest of the turn. So this is really nice for the fact of, obviously, as I was hinting at earlier with the new Festimagica Wilista, if you Soul Blast this for the cost, you get both the True Hearted Ruby and Everlasting Sapphire skills, which is really nice. So you're getting the 2 units on the board and the 15k to your Vanguard, all for the cost of 1 Soul Blast. Then you've also got the new Restand skill built onto this, which now turns Wilista into a 5 attack deck. But obviously it does cost you Soul Blasting a grade 3 with Wilista in its card name, which from the get-go you're thinking, oh, so it's going to be turn 4 base, because obviously Persona riding. But that does become easier with the final card that we've got for Wilista, which is full marks for Exhilarating Energy Trixie. So Trixie's got 2 skills. First one being Continuous Rearguard Circle. If you played a gem order this turn and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets 5,000 power. Nice and simple. Second skill is Auto. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Wilista in its card name, you can cast, put a card from your hand into your soul. You then look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 grade 3 cards with Wilista in their different original card names from among them, reveal them and put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal any cards, you draw a card. So first skill is just making her a nice simple 15k attacker. Nothing too fancy about that. I really don't understand why they put a restriction on your opponent Vanguard having to be grade 3 or greater on it. There's really no need for that, but they did. Second skill has the chance to be a high roll into a +1 or a low roll into a +1/0, so a cycle. But you're choosing the card if you get it on the top 5, if not you're drawing, but you're putting a card from hand into soul. So like we were talking about earlier with Wilista needing to Soul Blast a grade 3, you can utilise this to put a grade 3 you've already got into your soul, then Soul Blast it out, and then get your Restand skill off of the Illumirays. So really nice. So yes, it's only 3 cards to support, but it's a nice little bit of cycling in there. And it all flows well together, making a really nice upgrade for Wilista, and I can't wait to see how it all goes in testing. But as we said at the beginning, it's not just Wilista we're going to be covering today, and we're going to be looking at the 3 generic cards that have come out alongside this wave of support. First one up is going to be Colouring One's Wish Vache Blanc. And this is similar to the cycle cards that we've seen in set 10 for the main other 5 nations. Because it's got the same first skill of Auto. When this card is discarded from your hand during your ride phase, you can cost Soul Blast 1 and put this to the bottom of your deck. If you do, draw a card. And second skill is Auto. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you have Persona Road this turn, you can cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your Vanguards until end of turn, it gets the continuous Vanguard skill of all your front row units get 5,000 power. So, as I said, first skill was on all of the set 10 cycle cards for the other nations, so obviously carrying over for us makes most sense. The second skill is what makes this more interesting though, because it's a generic 5k to your front row, but because it's stuck to a continuous Vanguard Circle skill, if we multi-attack, say for example with Persona Ride Kairi, who bounces and recalls units, the new units called will also get affected by the Power Plus 5000, which is really nice. It also works for restanding, like with the Wilista stuff we've just been talking about. So all in all, flows really nicely with Lyrical. Really nice skill, I do appreciate it. Now the next one up is a very interesting one, and that is our grade 3 cycle card, which is being exclusively done for the Festival Collection. The other nations are getting these as well. And the first skill is Continuous Rearguard Circle or Guardian Circle. If your opponent's drive check or damage check has revealed a trigger unit during this turn, this unit gets Power plus 10,000 and Shield plus 10,000. And second skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. at the end of the battle where this unit was boosted, you can cast Soul Blast 1 and perform one of the following actions. You can either A, choose one of your other rearguards in the same column as this unit and return it to your hand. Or B, cost, remove one from play and an over trigger from your drop zone, to then choose up to one unit card from your hand with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard and call it to rearguard circle. So the first skill is what's actually being tied to all of the grade 3 units. So they gain plus 10 power, K power or plus 10k shield. But they don't gain intercept is my one gripe with these. So you'd have to guard with it from hand, so bit weird. But obviously you can tie this in with Eureka. So you're boosting for the full 26k column, for example, without Persona Ride. But you're then using Eureka to bounce this back to your hand again, so you can then use it as shield. Plus, you can then tie this in with the second skill and remove the overtrigger from play to call a card from your hand to the empty circle that Adel Hate was actually in. So you're getting more multi-attack combos, which is really nice to have. The other thing to keynote here is Adel Hate is a ghost. So she actually works really nicely with Felty Rosa. So this is a nice little bit of extra ghost support. So you can call this off the top deck, and if your opponent's already hit the trigger, you'll gain the 10k power, and you can still then boost this with the likes of the grade 1 double rare from set 2 that gains 2k power and then tucks this back to the bottom of the deck again. So you're still gaining a lot of pressure numbers from the deck. It would then be a 33k column, 43k on Persona Ride, so you're still hitting really big numbers, which is really nice. You can also obviously activate her autos, because obviously the timing windows, you can Soul Blast 1 to bounce the booster back to hand before this would then get tucked to the bottom in that situation. So really nice combos you can do. All in all, interesting card. I'm going to hold off properly testing this till we get the new Felty Rosa and see what that actually does alongside it. Then we have the final card, which is a nice simple one, in the Perfect Tailor Crockwell. Crockwell's only got one skill, but it's a nice simple one of auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you can count +1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and choose up to one card with the dress up ability from among them, reveal it, and add it to your hand. Then you shuffle your deck. So nice, simple, to the point. But my one issue with this card is it's got no countermeasure in case you don't find a dress up card within those top 7. Because obviously, as we saw with Trixie, she said, oh, if you don't get a card, you can draw a card. And we had with the Burning Horn Dragon, when Draconic Overlord the End came out, that said, oh, if you don't find an Overlord card, you get to re-countercharge. So this not having one of those countermeasures does turn me off of it. Especially in Wilista, when we've obviously got Trixie that already does the searching and has the countermeasure. And I'm just not impressed with it, is the honest response. But we'll have to wait and see, once tested goes, how useful this actually comes up in the other decks. I do want to stress this isn't a ghost, so this won't work well with Felty Rosa. But those were the 6 cards. All in all, very nice start to the Lyrical support. And I can't wait to see what else comes up. Obviously, I've seen the Celestial and Clarissa stuff, which is going to be covered very shortly. But past that, I'm very excited to see what they do with Felty Rosa, what they do with Lauren Roll, and what else we get for generic Lyrical support. Because there's going to be a lot of generic cards being put in this set. Like, we're very likely going to get our extra heal triggers that we're missing, just playing catch up on the generic mechanics. But they're all really good from the get-go, so really excited. But that's going to be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe, it very much does help the channel. And I shall catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye!